I even skipped out of homecoming because to study for the ACT, and it was just a mistake.
I had a 36 on my ACT.
Yeah, I can go first. My name is Pratyush Mallick. All my friends here at Plano East call me Prat. I'm going to be a freshman at Harvard this fall. I'm not sure what I'm studying yet. I'm very undecided because we declare our majors our sophomore year, but I'm thinking about concentrating in government, computer science, or economics, and maybe even a mix of all three. And I'm super excited to talk to you guys today.
I'm Parisa Vaziri, and I'm going to be starting at Yale in the fall. And I'm planning on majoring in neuroscience, but I want to focus a lot on computer science and all of the computational applications of that. So I will be starting there, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, so I think another thing that as students begin to apply to this process, then you think about early action and early decision. So this is the school that you find yourself most in fit with, and you feel like you feel the most passionate about, and you can find yourself in that in almost any setting. I applied to Harvard with the early action program, and I was accepted. And so as it was already my first choice for a myriad of reasons, from the environment to the academics, to the kind of unique public policy and political connections that the school has, I found myself kind of at home at Harvard. And so it was just plus getting in early because I already felt my fit there.
Yeah, and I would say that you need to be kind of strategic in terms of where you're applying for early action or regular decision. A lot of schools are restrictive, so if you apply to one place early action, you can't apply anywhere else. So that's something that you should take into consideration. I applied to Yale during the regular decision cycle, and the major thing that I was looking at when I was deciding which colleges I wanted to invest my time in was how good is their undergraduate experience, because a lot of these elite institutions have really good grad schools, and that's why they're famous, but only a select number of them have really good opportunities for undergrads, and they're investing a lot there. And that was something that I was really impressed with by Yale. They had a lot of resources for undergraduate students, and I was really grateful that I had the opportunity to be accepted and make that decision. Personally, I'm most excited to have a lot of access to resources in terms of research, because a lot of the stuff that I did in high school was just at home and with materials that I could get my hands on. But in the program I'm in, I get to pick my mentors, so I can pick any professor on campus to work with. And Yale has a new institute called the Wu-Tsai Institute, and it only focuses on neuroscience. So there are going to be a lot of cool pieces of equipment and really interesting people and Nobel laureates that I'll have the opportunity to talk to and work with. So that's going to be a big change that I'm excited for.
Yeah, I would also say that there's a couple interesting research aspects at Harvard that I'm looking forward to, but I think the biggest thing that I'm excited about is just meeting a vast array of people with incredible experiences that they did through high school, and seeing how they continue and kind of work with their own peers, both in my hall, in my yard, and throughout the school. It's just incredible seeing the amazing things students are doing at such a young age, and seeing how they continue their journeys through that and networking with them as they continue their college journeys.
The major thing that I would say, and even though it might sound cliche, is to just be yourself, because if you're putting up a facade and you're trying to be this perfect student and you do get into a certain school, you might not be a good fit for that school, and then you're going to be somewhere where you might be unhappy or not fitting into the culture. So it's really important to just be yourself and be authentic and not try to be some kind of cookie cutter image. But at the same time, with college applications, you do want to distinguish yourself. So if you have certain unique experiences, or if you're a really funny person and you want to implement splashes of humor or your own personality quirks, don't be afraid to do that, but don't be forced. Give yourself enough time to write all your essays, review them yourself, and get input from other people. But at the end of the day, it's really important that you're happy with your application and you feel like it's an accurate representation of yourself.
And I completely agree with what she said there. Additionally, be able to find your niche. Every college is looking for a diverse array of candidates as they build their class. They're looking for musicians, they're looking for athletes, researchers, and as a result, there will always be some place for you within the college you're looking for. So with that said, be able to do your research in advance and find the programs in that college that you think you can see yourself fit into, and make sure you can craft an image of the admissions officer being able to see you within their program contributing to not only their students, but also the entire college itself.
I would say when you're deciding if you want to submit test scores or not, look at the college that you're applying to and look at the average score that they have for the people that they're admitting. And if your score is below that, then don't submit it. There's a reason that they have a test optional policy. But if it's above that average and it would make you a more desirable candidate, then you can put that. And I don't think it's that big of a deal breaker whether you have it or not. And I think my major piece of advice with applying during the pandemic is to know that even in normal scenarios, admissions officers go through applications extremely quickly. So they might only look at yours for 2 minutes before they make a decision of whether you're in or you're not. And that could be your dream school and they don't know that. So make sure that you're able to catch their attention and that they're able to make a personal connection with you, and that they're not able to forget you because you've worked really hard on your application and you want them to look at it for more than just a few minutes.
And adding on to that, be able to represent yourself and who you are in every component of your application. So whether that's your essays, your recommendations, and your interviews, there's so many parts of the piece that just need to click together and be able to kind of maintain that narrative of who you're presenting to that college, right? If your essays say one thing about you, but your recommendations are another, it's a kind of a red flag for the admissions officers. So find your narrative, find who you are, and kind of portray every single part of yourself throughout your application as you continue the process. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Your essays are almost like I'd say they're over half the kind of part of the college the admissions officer looks for. So finding the right peers to review your essays, finding the right wording, and even seeking help from teachers, your friends, and making sure you kind of crystallize those essays into kind of the best kind of work you've done really helps you set yourself apart in the process. And essays are just really important.
What would be something you do differently?
I think that I would allow myself to explore my interests a little bit more freely. I think at the time everyone was really stressed out and uptight, and they were really focused on, getting a certain GPA and taking classes that make that higher. And if they wanted to try out some extracurricular, they would see it as too late, even though they were only freshmen or sophomores. And it's easy to let that get into your head. So for myself, I wanted to start science fair a little bit earlier and get more comfortable with it at that point. But then again, I was able to find something that I was truly passionate about eventually, and I had to kind of get over that little mind block of thinking it was too late to get good at something and actually pursue it.
Yeah, I would say spend a little bit more time with your peers and I guess taking it easy. I definitely fell into the category of a stressed out student early in high school. I remember I used to freak out about GPA all the time, like sophomore year, and even a little bit into junior year. But as you kind of get through the process, you begin to realize how little that matters. As a whole, especially in the application process, it's just who you're presenting. They don't want to see numbers or scores. They want to see real people, real emotions put into your essays, your interviews, and every step of that process. But yeah, I mean, I stressed out way too much. I even skipped out of homecoming to study for the ACT, and it was just a mistake.
I had a 36 on my ACT.
So definitely enjoy your opportunities with your friends, and make sure you create those bonds while you still can, because after these 4 years are over, I think there was a study that you don't see 75% of the people you saw in high school. They just disappear. So definitely take this unique opportunity to live your best high school experience, and don't sacrifice your emotional health for a couple points on a GPA scale or SAT score.
Okay, I can go first. For me, science fair was definitely the thing that I liked the most, and it definitely shaped my experience. And I got into TikTok and showing parts of my science experience with that, and that really opened the door for a lot of opportunities for myself with media and with different competitions like the Regeneron Science Talent Search and ISEF and all of those kinds of things. And at the time, I wasn't expecting it to go in that direction, but I was just having fun. And I think that that was really important, and it was something that definitely set me apart from a lot of different applicants. And I think the major thing is that there are a lot of factors that you don't know about that go into the college admissions process. So if you have something really unique, don't think that it's going to go overlooked, because I know with my admissions officers, they had seen my segment on NBC News without me sending it to them and linking it. So they already had that in the file. So there are a lot of things that will be noticed. And so you need to make sure that the image that you're portraying of yourself online and on different platforms is what you want other people to see. And that if you work hard, that's not just going to be thrown away. Every single piece of effort and input you put, there will be output.
Yeah, I think my kind of high school, even school experience has always been shaped around my love for reading about policy, about politics, and about political theory. I remember in like 8th grade reading about like Kant and Hobbes, and kind of learning about the theory behind how modern government works. And that kind of extended a lot more when I got involved in my sophomore year with the gang campaign. I was one of the youngest field organizers here in DFW, and kind of finally taking that theory and kind of learning about politics, but putting it into a organizing setting where you're on the ground, contacting donors, making phone calls, knocking doors, and working with campaigns like the Better Work for Senate campaign, the Andrew Yang for President campaign. I've just had a number of holistic experiences that have made me become so passionate about the importance of political organizing, and how even small changes from county judge to city councilman member can make such an impactful difference in our schools, in our communities, and even our country. And I even took that this past summer. It's almost been a year now. I think it's exactly been a year. This past summer, I was one of the youngest Democratic National Delegates for Senator Bernie Sanders, where I was able to craft and work with other delegates to create policy resolutions to bring about platform endorsements such as universal health care. I published and wrote a policy platform that was unfortunately rejected on universal basic income, but things like that I was passionate about, like housing reform, economic security, that was finally a stage where I could represent myself. And much like, not really in the same field as Parisa, but I also got a little bit of media attention because of that, which I used as a platform to speak about the deep economic insecurities in our nation and kind of the policy actions and electoral actions we can take to resolve them. And so kind of learning about politics at a young age to being on the ground and organizing for these politicians has been kind of one of the formative experiences that I had as a high school student, and I hope to continue at the next 4 years through initiatives through the Harvard Kennedy School and other groups local in Massachusetts.
Like the things that I'm working on? Okay. Yeah, so in high school, I was doing experiments on neurodegeneration, and I was trying to find different things that I could do to prevent it, because I felt like that was a big factor of aging, and as our society progresses, people are living longer, the lifespan's increasing, and that's one of the issues that isn't being addressed. So when someone has Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, they're kind of just told, these are some ways to make it a little less bad, but there's no cure. And I thought that we should approach the problem in a different way. So I found a series of different genes that when they're turned on in combination with each other, they protected the brain from degeneration, and I was using fruit flies as an experimental model to do that. Sorry. And going on from that, I was able to show that these genes also exist in humans, and they're very similar, so it could be used as a form of gene therapy. And at Yale, I'm not exactly sure which part of neuroscience I'll be doing, but I think the brain is really cool because
if you are interested in videos around the SAT, college readiness, and the IB program, be sure to go down and subscribe. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to smash that like button. But just like that, this video is about to be done. I'm out in 3, 2, 1.